General MacArthur drops a atomic bomb.
Hello everyone, welcome back. This is 1951 Solo Play Turn 3. Turn 2 was a rather interesting turn as the Soviets nuked northern Germany, effectively, well, not destroying, it effectively froze this NATO army in place for one full turn because they can't move in and out, nor can the Russians move in and attack. Over in the Pacific, the Allies were able to get back into mainland China, so China looks like they're going to probably have to divert their assault against the Sato forces in Malaya to counter the new Allied threat on their shores. So going into purchases, Russia's buying 2 tech, 3 tanks, 2 mech, and a mobile artillery, and a MiG jet fighter. China is going to repair the damage to their factories from the American air raid last turn, and they're building 6 tanks. So then we'll quickly do the research. Russia's once again going to go for radar, which again allows aircraft to scramble from 2 spaces away. And they're successful, finally. So Russia finally has unlocked radar. Oops. So now we will quickly take a pause and get the attacks all set up for this communist turn. All right, so going into the communist attacks now, go from Europe to Asia. The communists are going to pincer Sweden in an amphibious landing with troops from Murmansk and troops from Leningrad. The Soviet army in Germany is going to push forward from southern Germany and attempt to capture Paris. They're being backed up with troops coming from Poland, northern Germany, and Austria to support the attack. Here, the Russians are going, or I guess I won't say going for broke, but they are definitely risking an assault against the small NATO fleet off of Italy in the hopes of landing troops to take Rome. Obviously, the carrier has scrambled its fighter, and the 2 fighters from Rome have also been scrambled in an effort to try and stop the Soviet naval attack. Next, the Soviets are moving to take Israel and open the gateway to trying to take their final victory city of Cairo, hopefully turn 4. In Southeast Asia, the Chinese are launching an assault against Thailand to try and knock out those 3 Sato divisions there. They've also decided to mass a huge force to destroy the U.S. 8th Army in Hong Kong. And finally, the communists are launching a limited amphibious invasion of Okinawa to try and destroy the American air base and the planes on it there. So we'll get this all set up. We'll start from Asia and just go straight over. So let's get all this prepared. Let's start with Okinawa. Get the battle board. Well, first we'll set up the battle board and then move to the dice rolls. Okay, so they got 2 strategic bombers. Don't know how well this attack is really going to go. So they are landing with 2 infantry, 2 artillery, which allows both infantry to hit on a 2, bringing in a tank, a jet, and a strategic bomber. So let's see how this attack formulates. If I can get it lower. Guess not. Okay, so we have 4 for 2. Nothing, of course. 1 for 3. Hit. We'll take that on the fighter. And 2 for 4. And got 1. Well, at this point, they don't have anywhere else. Oh, yeah, they can. We'll take that on. Guess we're going to have to take it on a fighter. I really want to save my strategic bombers. Okay, so then the strategic bombers for 1. Misses. And the 3 aircraft for 4. All 3 hits. Okay. Let's see here. Now, I think as the... Don't want to stand and die, but we can't, I don't think they can retreat. No, they can't. If they were, yeah, because normally, kind of like how the non-combats work in Axis and Allies, like if a fighter were to retreat from like South Korea, they could go boom and then slide in, kind of like how the islands work in the non-combats and regular Axis and Allies. And unfortunately, they retreat to this sea zone. They got nowhere to go. So, yep, the Allied Air Force is trapped. I mean, they might just even out the battle. It might just go no contest. But let's see. So they got the artillery. The communists have artillery for 2. Oh, they scored a hit. Well, I guess we'll have to take it on the bomber. The tank for 3. Miss. And the jet and bomber for 4. Do it. That's the last of the U.S. Air Force in the Pacific. So 2 for 1. Ooh, miss. And the jet for 4. Hit. That's the Soviet artillery. All right, so the communists will take Okinawa. A Chinese tank will land in Okinawa and take that for 1 IPC. Now we will move on to, let's see here. Yep. Now we'll move on to the battle at Hong Kong. Get that set up. Okay. 2 mechanized artillery. So that's those 2. We got another artillery to support 1. And the other mech to support another 2 infantry. So that's good. We'll have, or, yeah. Like that. And we got 2 jets for 4. And 2 fighters for 3. The Allied defenders. And the American carrier. The American carrier that is off of Hong Kong has scrambled its fighters to the defense. Okay. All right, so for the attacks. All right. China, 1 for 1. Miss. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for 2. So we'll roll 4 at a time. Oh, God, miss. 2 hits. Then 2 fighters for 3. 1 hit. And 2 jets for 4. No hits. All right, the Allies shoot back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 2. 1 hit. 1 for 3. Miss. And 3 for 4. Oh, no hits. Okay, let's see here. So the 2nd Marine Division has been destroyed. Let's see here. Well, I mean, they could retreat onto the landing force. They could try and retreat onto the... Yeah. And then one of those fighters could retreat to Taiwan. Well, actually could even retreat to the Philippines. Okay. Sato is going to try and retreat its forces. So that's the Marine. Save the tank. Save the jet. Save fighter. Save fighter. Save. So the Allied forces retreat off of Hong Kong. Back to the fleet. These 2 will deploy back onto the carrier. And this fighter will be able to come here and slide into the Philippines because the northern part of the Philippines comes into this sea zone. And China will reclaim Hong Kong for 3 IPC. So, I have reclaimed Hong Kong. Whoops, sorry, that was out of focus. For 3 IPC. So now, once I get everything put back, we will move, we will move to the short-term battle in okay, 1, 2, well, I'll move you guys in the non-combat. Then yeah. Okay. Anyways, those guys will move on the non-combat. So now the limited attack into Thailand. There's 3 infantry, 3 infantry and 3 artillery versus 3 Sato infantry. And there's no airfield. Well, they kind of anyways. Okay, so we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, China 6 for 2. Oh, they got all 3 in one go. And then Sato will roll their 3 for 2. And they got 1. All right, China now takes Thailand. We'll take Thailand for 2. Get a marker on there. Pull those off. Right. So from there, they now have Thailand. Oof, sorry. Okay, next we'll go over to the Middle East with the attack on Israel. Get that set up quick. So that is all these, whoops. These infantry. 2 of the mech will hit on 2 because it is supported by that. That tank for 3. Israeli defenses are centered around, I think that's 4 infantry, 3 tanks, a tactical, and a strategic bomber. Okay. All right, so the Russians first will hit with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1. They got 1. Take it on an infantry. And then it's 3 for 2. 1. And then 1 for 3. Hit. Okay, so the NATO bomber for 1. Miss. 4 infantry for 2. 2. The 3 tanks and tactical. The 3 tanks and tactical for 3. Whew, 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's see here. As the Soviets, can I even still? No, I can't go forward with this. Drat. Okay. Let's see here. Looking at the disposition of forces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no. Russia's going to have to retreat from that assault. So Russia is going to retreat from the attack in Israel. NATO has received a let up, I guess you could say, now that their Middle Eastern command is able to survive another turn. Next, we will move over to the naval battle off of Italy first. So let's see here. We've got a destroyer, a cruiser, a damaged battleship, and 3 fighters going up against 4 cruisers, a tactical, 2 fighters, and 2 jets. Now these 2 jets, to get to the battle, they came from Norway, or they came from Poland, and in order to make it to the battle, they had to cross over northern Italy, which does have an anti-aircraft gun, so it will get a chance to roll against them real quick. So 1 jet makes it, 2nd jet makes it. Okay, so Russia has, we'll do the cruisers first, 4 for 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the 2 fighters. Got another one. And the tactical for 4. Hits. And the 2 jets for 4. Hits. Okay, so now Russia, the destroyer, misses. The cruiser and battleship for 3. They got 1. That was a 2. And then the 3 fighters for 4. Got 2 more. I'll take a cruiser, and I will take one of the fighters. At least leave 2 cruisers alive. Okay, so now that will allow for the Allies to make their landing in Rome. Put this back on its fleet card. With 3 infantry, 3 tanks. I'll pull these aircraft off. And a strategic bomber. And going up on, and they'll be going up against, a very spirited NATO defense of 1 infantry and an anti-aircraft gun. So with the anti-aircraft gun, it'll roll against the strategic bomber. Misses. Okay, so they have 3 infantry for 1. Misses. 3 tanks for 3. All 3 hits. And then NATO will fire back with 1 for 2. Misses. Okay, so now the Soviets have taken Rome. And because it is a NATO capital, NATO will lose a small portion of their IPC. We're going to actually use him to represent the new Soviet army in Italy. Leave that there for now. And that's 3 IPC. And a Soviet marker. So, that is 1/3 of NATO's IPC that'll be taken with the conquering of Rome. But we'll wait and hold off because we do have the attack on Paris, which if that succeeds, then the Russians are also able to take another 1/3. So they'll be able to take 2/3 of NATO's IPC if they can succeed. So we'll immediately go right into setting up for the attack on Paris, which is going to be considerably large. Goodness gracious. The Russians are going all in with a massive tank army. There's at least over 18 some tanks. There's like 20 some odd tanks going into this fight. They are bringing the Air Force in from Poland to support the attack. Unfortunately, though, there are 2 anti-aircraft guns, so they are going to have to run the gauntlet. They will have to run the gauntlet of 2 anti-aircraft guns. Not to mention, NATO has a vast air army in and around Paris to defend it. So this is not going to be a clear-cut victory. This is definitely going to be a bloody victory, which will probably incur a lot of tank losses for the Russians. So bring these over too. Okay, so the anti-aircraft guns. Okay, so we have 2 fighters. So first fighter makes it, second fighter doesn't make it. We've got 3 jets. Makes it, makes it, makes it, and then the strategic bomber makes it. Okay, here we go. All right, 2 infantry for 1. There's a hit. They'll take it on an anti-aircraft gun. Then, well, actually, no, sorry. Those 2 infantry for 1. Well, okay, so we'll take the 1, take it on the anti-aircraft gun. Okay, and then it's, because they were supposed to hit on a 2 or less because they're covered by artillery, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more for 2. Rolling 3s. There's another 1. There's 3. This is for 6. Miss. Okay, now for the tanks. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 19, 20 tanks and 3 fighters. We'll roll 5 dice at a time. So for the 20 tanks, 1, 2, 3. Ooh. So 5, 4. Yep, so that was 4. Yep. 5 for 4. 10 for 3. going to be 15 for 1, 15 for 2. Whoops. 20. And this will be 20 for another 4. 20 for another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then we got the 1 fighter. That's a hit. And then the 3 jets. It's another 2 hits. And the strategic bomber for 4. Misses. Okay, NATO's left with 1 left. All right, so they now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 8 for 3. So we'll roll 4. There's 1. And 1 more. Okay. Oh, and there was another one. Sorry. So that was 9 for 3. So roll 1 more. Misses. All right. So then for 4, they've got quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for 3. Or 9 for 4. 4. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So 5. And that was 3. And then give me 4. 4 more. 4. 4. That's another 3. All right. Well, obviously the NATO jet is going to try and retreat. And he makes it. And he will retreat back to... Well, we'll retreat him north to Holland, Belgium, and join the small NATO army up there. Paris has fallen for 3 IPC. The Soviets will take control of it. And then, 1 second, get the board all cleared up. That actually went a lot better than I expected. I thought Russia would definitely suffer way more casualties than it did that turn. Let's see here. Okay, so then all we got to do is follow up with the final attack, which is the invasion of Norway. Which the invasion of Norway is these 2 infantry with an infantry and artillery from Leningrad. There are 2 cruisers, so there will be a offshore bombardment when Norway is being defended by 2 infantry, tank, and fighter. All right. So the final battle for this turn. So the 2 Soviet cruisers with their offshore bombardment completely missed. Okay, so they have 2 infantry for 1, miss, and infantry artillery for 2. They got 1. NATO 1 for 2, miss, 1 for 3, hit, and 1 for 4. Miss. Okay. Think as the Russians, I'll at least try and press the attack. So 1 for 1. Miss. 2 for 2. Miss. NATO 1 for 3. Hit. And 1 for 4. Hit. Okay, so we got to retreat from that. So we retreat off of that battle. NATO remains in control of Norway with a tank and a aircraft. And that will end the combat turn for the communist forces. And now going into, well, we'll just go, there's not much to fix up, so we'll go right into the non-combats. So, starting in Europe, the ground forces currently in Poland will push forward and reinforce well, the infantry will reinforce northeastern Germany. These two will come and reinforce southern Germany. This artillery will also reinforce. This anti-aircraft gun will move forward. This anti-aircraft gun will come to Norway. Coming down here, the strategic bomber will head back to Turkey. The planes that supported the attack, the 2 jets unfortunately have to go back to Albania. And the fighter and 1, 2... these can go back to Turkey as well. Move this army forward. I mean, don't need that army marker here since it's just 1 infantry guarding that now. We'll actually move him up to Archangel. Maybe get him ready. Maybe, I don't know, might be able to try another assault on Norway if possible. All of the aircraft that were part of the Paris attack will head back to 1, 2, 3. Well, let's see here. So the 1 fighter, 1, 2, 3, can only go back to southern Germany. 1, 2, 3, 4. The jet. Well, we'll do this. We'll put the jet and the fighter in southern Germany. The strategic bomber will head back to Poland. And then this fighter up here in Leningrad will go 1, 2, 3, 4 and join the army in southern Germany. Okay, and then in the Middle East, we don't got much that we need to move. We'll take this guy out of Iraq and put him with the army up there in Syria. These 2 infantry will leave Kazakhstan and come to the Caucasus. Okay, over in the Pacific now. All of this is moving to reinforce Burma. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2 fires will come back to Hainan. The jets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 jet will come here, and then the jet from North Korea went 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll land back in Hainan or Hunan. Let's see here. Up north, don't got much to do up here up north around Japan. If anything, we'll bring him up, grab 2 of the infantry, and bring them back to Japan. Although I just realized I left Hokkaido to the Americans. Although, with us still holding that sea zone, that'll take away the convoy right there. So there's that. And I think that's everything for non-combat moves for the communists this turn. So put these back because these were fully restocked. So yeah, I guess we'll deploy. So 3 tanks, 3 Chinese tanks will deploy here in Kuichao. The other 3 Chinese tanks will deploy in India. And actually, I'm going to move these 2 infantry over to this part of India to keep the Sado army there in check. Okay. Then in Europe, the 3 Soviet tanks that were purchased will be deployed in Poland. The jet will be deployed to jet's going to be deployed to Romania, and then the 2 mech and mobile artillery are going to be deployed in Turkey. Okay, so then rounding out the end of the turn, let's see here. Okay, rounding out the end of the turn, Russia will get 69 on top of the 2/3 that they will collect from the 2 NATO capitals, and China will get 48 plus the 2 that they saved, so they'll have 50 for next turn. All in all, this was a surprisingly good turn for the communists. They captured Rome, Paris, forced the Allies out of Hong Kong, started a drive on the Middle East, but I don't know if the Allies are going to be able to... There's no way the Allies are going to be able to hold the Middle East and save Egypt from destruction. This very well looks like at least the communists will get the victory in Europe unless the Allies can get back. I mean, they have that northern Italian army that could head south and that could turn south and fight and recapture Rome. But as far as everything in Central Europe and France, the Allies don't have much around there. So, again, that is the end of the turn. We will take stock, and we'll see you guys for turn 3 of the Allies.